Hi, I'm Sherry Chisesi, and today I'm looking at GeoGebra, which is a web-based or online or downloadable graphing and mathematics tool. When you first open up GeoGebra, this is the screen you're going to see. And if you click on the three bars, you have several choices. You have graphing, which is the home screen. You have computer-aided system, or computer algebra system, excuse me, and that means that a student can input an equation and solve for x. Geometry, where you can draw all kinds of shapes and do a lot of constructions. 3D graphics, a spreadsheet such as Google Sheets or even Excel. Probability, which is what we're going to focus on, and in the exam mode. And just to give you an idea of the graphing mode, a student can enter an equation such as 3x minus 2, and the equation automatically will graph in the particular grid here. One of the features that I really liked was finding a parallel and perpendicular line. For example, in a parallel line, you can have an equation graphed. You can pick a point somewhere not on the line, and it shows up over here what the coordinates are. And if you pick the line that you have drawn, it will draw a line parallel to that particular line. And then the students can also see a slope of those particular lines. So if I click on this one, it'll give you the slope here of 3 as well as the slope here of 3, and the students can see that the slopes of the parallel lines are equal to each other. I'm teaching that particular concept on Monday. The second part is the geometry, or the probability part, which allows the student to look at the normal distribution, which is a huge part of statistics. And currently it's in normal, but you have a chi-squared F distribution and exponential distribution, which are all part of statistics, as well as binomial, Poisson, Pascal, and hypergeometric. So we're going to stay in the normal. And in here you can put your mean and your standard deviation. So let's say our mean of a particular situation is 34 and a standard deviation of 0.25. You notice the numbers across the bottom on the axis coordinate with what we just put in. And here we can look at what is the probability that a particular value is between 33.75 and 34.25. And that particular answer is 0.6827 or 68.27%, and that's this shaded region right here. And we can change that to a less than problem or even a greater than problem. Students usually use a Z-chart for this. A lot of times they forget it, they don't have access to it, so they can very easily look at this on their iPads. The second part where it says statistics, we can use Z-test to the mean, a t-test, which is a sample less than 30. You have a difference of both of those, a proportion and a difference of proportions. There's a goodness of fit and a chi-squared, which are all taught in AP statistics. The null hypothesis is an equal to idea. Let's say we're equal to something that's equal to 34. Your alternative, which is pretty much what you're trying to prove, and you can do less than, greater than, or not equal to. So let's say we want to prove that something is not equal to 34 inches. So we can put in our mean, our standard deviation, and our sample size. I have these preset in here already. So let's say I change my sample size to 60 because we want to keep it above 30. And down at the bottom here, it will give them the result. It restates the mean, the standard deviation. This is our standard error, sample size, and then it gives you the z-score that corresponds with that, which tells us the probability of this is equal to 0, which means the probability of not being equal to is pretty much going to be 0. And then the students can interpret this according to like 7 steps. Do we accept the alternative hypothesis or do we reject the alternative hypothesis? So this particular program allows the students to not have to do the tedious computations and allows them to interpret the information given to them in this particular program. This is just a very small piece of what this particular program can do. I really enjoy working with it, and I'll be sharing this with my students in the next several days. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your night.